Hey everybody, Matt Michaels here along with Simon Street, and today we welcome one of the young, exciting wrestlers out there, Mr. EJ Sparks. What's up, EJ?
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for bringing me on.
Not a
Thanks
problem,
for
man. Happy to have
yeah,
you.
for doing it, brother. We appreciate it. Getting to see a lot more of your work nowadays through United Wrestling Network and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. How are you enjoying getting out to California and working for Marquez and the crew?
Um, it's it's just a great ride because you're going around so many people that have years of experience, not only in wrestling but in television in general. And like, there's not a single time where I don't learn. Like, I'm always learning every time I go there, and it's just a good group of people. And of course, it's just really good to get back in the ring consistently after the whole shutdown. So that's always nice.
Well, for people who are not familiar with you, you've only been at it a couple of years, like 3 years professionally wrestling matches now. What was your first initial liking into wrestling? How come wrestling called to you?
So just like everybody else, like I've been watching since I was a small child. And like, I mean, everyone on my mom's side watched it, everyone on my dad's side loved it, like real classic old school NWA, WCW. And it was like tradition for all of my family to watch wrestling. So I've always been a fan of it. But the way I actually got into it is a funny story because for those who don't know, I'm also a dancer. I have my own dance crew. And right out of high school, I was really trying to make a career out of dancing. And that is the hardest thing in the world
Mm.
to make a career out of. So after a while, I realized that path wasn't going that way. I didn't quit dancing. I still dance to this day, but I wanted to start thinking logically. And after watching some wrestling documentaries, I just kind of thought to myself, like, hey, why don't I try this out? I've been wanting to be a wrestler since I was like 4 or 5. So why not give it a shot?
Was it? Did you find it was like it's kind of comparative to dancing, except for the fact that you're just there's more contact being made. But
Mhm.
did you find that when you were training and learning that a lot of the timing that's in dancing is kind of what wrestling is?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because in dancing, there's like 8 counts, and you have to watch your footwork, and there's certain things that just don't really go together. You want everything to look clean, especially when you're performing, whether it's a
Right.
dance battle, or you're performing at a talent show, a quinceañera, anything like that. Like, so honestly, just the whole presentation for wrestling and dancing, there's a whole lot of similarities that no one would even think about unless they've been doing both things.
Right. Go ahead, Simon.
So I was just gonna say, so you talked about how you danced in a dance group for a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I believe it was called was it Smurf Entertainment or something like that, or you were the proprietor of Smurf Entertainment?
No, no, that's correct. It
Okay.
definitely was a Smurf Entertainment. It was a funny little goofy name that I came up with back in high school. If you could tell, that's when the crew was started.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, it was just like a bunch of us really loved dance. We were really into the Step Up movies that came out, like
All
Step Up to
right.
the Beat,
All
Step
right.
Up to Me. Like, we were really into that stuff, and it really just started with making dance videos for fun, and that turned into doing talent show performances, performing at Sweet 16s, doing all kinds of fun stuff like that. So one thing kind of led to another, and yeah, that dance was my life and identity for a very long time.
Well, in like you had mentioned before too, you said, there's a lot of similarities between wrestling and the dance, but a huge part of that, would you say that it has to do with the crowd, filling out the crowd? Because, even though you go into, I would assume, with, you have a dance routine and everything all set, you can kind of feel the energy of the crowd if they're receiving what you've presented. And I would assume if you're tight with your dance crew, you're able to kind of change some things on the fly if you can, or maybe amp up somewhere that you couldn't, is that something you would say definitely translates very easy for yourself, having that dance background in the ring?
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily say that it's easy because like every situation's different, but it is a little bit more natural. It really is because I think back to this one dance battle I had with just one of my partners out of my dance crew. We were dancing at this high school, and the dudes started doing some like cool flippy do stuff. And we weren't doing the flips at that time. So like literally on the fly, we called an audible. I'm like, okay, let's just run in and do this routine. And like we went in and did it. And the crowd like popped off of that one little thing. And we didn't even have it planned or whatever. We just said, okay, we're gonna go do this to get the crowd more behind us. So it is very similar, and it's more natural for me to kind of call stuff or fill it out or be like, let's do this or let's not do this. So yeah, no.
And speaking along those same lines, do you find that your reactions in wrestling are helped out by the fact that being a dancer and being on stage, when you're starting to perform to sell it, you've got to use your face. And in wrestling, to sell it, you got to use your face.
Yeah.
Did that ever, cross your mind in translating, or was it's just one of those natural things being a performer that, you realize, hey, this is how you sell to a crowd?
Yes and no. Um, the whole facial thing, that literally did come a little bit later. Like it's one of those things that progressively get better at. And the reason for that is because I also do kickboxing. Well, now I coach kickboxing and boxing. And so coming from that like fighter's background and whatnot, if I'm getting punched in the face, I'm covering up here. But
Mhm.
like, in this, your face is your moneymaker and you have to sell big, you have to show your face to the crowd. And that one's a little bit different. So that one doesn't translate as well as like calling an audible for like filling out the crowd and whatnot.
Sure. Um, had you had much um, camera experience before you started wrestling? Did you do anything else outside of like shooting the videos of the dance or stuff? Did you do any kind of acting or anything like that?
Acting, no, not at all. My older brother, he did a lot of acting in high school and does like local shows. So I watch a lot of his stuff and kind of learn from him just by watching him.
Sure.
Yeah, otherwise just I mean, I played basketball in high school and of course the games would be like filmed and whatnot, but like it wasn't like anything like performance like that. So nothing for like acting.
Um, Go ahead, son.
No, I was going to say you had talked a little bit earlier about your kickboxing background and whatnot. Did I hear you correctly when you say you're more in a mentor role with kickboxing, like you train people or whatnot, or kids or anything?
Yeah, so I do train kids kickboxing. Well, I train kids boxing and
Okay.
I just teach like kickboxing classes at a studio and whatnot, but I also do one-on-one training lessons for people who actually do want to learn the craft and the art of boxing and kickboxing. So, yeah, it's a little bit of both because I do have years of experience under my belt and I love to give back. So,
Oh, that's awesome. That's what's up.
W-
So,
Yeah,
oh
go
my
ahead,
bad.
son.
No, my bad. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to talk about, what are, outside of your kickboxing background and your dance career that you've had, what are some other inspirations? And if I may be quick to say, I noticed you have a lot of Dragon Ball Z in the background. Do you grab a lot of inspiration from such an epic show as Dragon Ball Universe? Let's put it that way. Do you grab a lot of inspiration from those characters, and what would be your favorite?
Actually, I do. I'm glad that you mentioned that because before any wrestling show, unlike a lot of wrestlers who are watching their favorite wrestling matches, watching, just going back and watching cool moves and whatnot, I'm honestly watching Dragon Ball Z before wrestling. I really am. And I even posted that on Facebook. It was a memory that came up from like 3 years ago. Like before every show, I watched Dragon Ball Z. And the reason why um, not only it puts me in a relaxed mood because I'm always so nervous no matter what, and it's part of the fun just being nervous. And Dragon Ball Z really does relax me. And a lot of people who don't watch the show feel like it's just a bunch of yelling and screaming. But there's really good storytelling. My favorite character of all time is Gohan.
Mhm.
His story was like always incredible, like how he didn't even want to fight and he was kind of looked at as just, okay, he's the main character's son or whatever. And he literally rose above and turned out to be like the strongest character. Even later on, when he kind of just reverted back to like going to school and not training for martial arts, when it was time to get down, he would throw the gi back on and start training. And my biggest inspiration, I guess, is like with the Saiyans in the show, is pretty much every time they get really beat up to where they're about to die, they get what they call a Zenkai boost, which means they get stronger after a fight. So I always take that with me. I'm not going to win every wrestling match. I'm not going to win every championship, but I have to use every single match as a learning experience to get better, come back stronger, and use that as my Zenkai boost. Boom.
Very well put. Very well put. So is it safe to say that one of your favorite sagas is the Cell Saga? Favorite
saga ever.
Yeah.
All time.
Yeah, I mean, because Gohan really shined in that one, especially with the father-son Kamehameha. I mean, that I show that to my son now, and he was like, "Wow, Dad, like we should do that." And I say, "Well, we can see. I mean, you got to train." I just told him you got to train, and like he's really taking me seriously. Awesome. But it's amazing. So it's interesting that you say inspiration from Dragon Ball Z. Really, it helps you put you in that mindset to go ahead and go to that next level and transcend that in the ring. Are there any most recent matches to where that whole process you do really came in to help you produce one of your best matches?
Probably with my match against Ray Rosas that I just recently had, because me and him have been feuding for a very long time, and it's to the point where I've wrestled him so many times, we know each other so well. But every time I'm going into the match, my mind is not only on how do I want to win this match, but it's also how can I make this match better than the last one? You know, so just kind of using that as, you know, I'm better than I was 3 months ago. I'm better than I was a year ago when we had a match. Like, I want to come back and be better and not only give the people a better show, give him a better match and just tell a great story in the process.
With that, what has been kind of your path to character development? What have you drawn from to kind of create the persona we see on screen?
That one's tough also because my character is just Phoenix's favorite son, and pretty much it's just I am pretty much the favorite son of Phoenix. I'm fighting out of Arizona. I'm always the underdog. I'm usually undersized. And as for my like actual character and where I draw inspiration, I watch a little bit of everybody for different things though. For example, I watch Hulk Hogan just to look at his eyes. Like literally, I feel like when Hulk Hogan looks at a crowd with his eyes, like how they're popped and he's looking back and forth, little stuff like that, I'm like, that's good. You look at the crowd, you read this person, you read that person, you know, stuff like that. And for like presentation, like I'll watch somebody like Sting or somebody like John Cena who just came out and like they're not super cocky, but they know that they're like the best or one of the best. And just like the way they walk, the way they move, their patience. So as for my character and just how I move, I literally watch a little bit of everybody and just look at their different characteristics and see what they do. I hope that makes sense.
No, it does actually.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, I guess the next question I have is the hair is very recognizable. What is the story behind it? I mean, it's one of my favorite. When I see you come out, man, it's one of the coolest things is just to watch your hair while you're while you're moving, man. Because no one else has got it, man. I think it's so unique to you and it's an identifiable thing. How did this come about?
Well, you pretty much just answered your own question when you said nobody else has it. Since I first started a few years ago, I always said I want a different look. I want a unique look. Like, I know that everybody has kick pads and the shorts that I wear, but like I was like, I need to like look different. So my first couple of years, I was wearing a bandana that matched my gear, and I thought that was pretty cool, but it got kind of obnoxious. And then for a while, I just had the braids straight back, and I put some beads on the end. But when I was really little, like in middle school, there was this rapper that I used to listen to. His name was Hurricane Chris.
Yeah.
He made the song "Hey Baby."
Hey Baby.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy. So his hair was sort of like this. It was much longer. There wasn't as many, and he had just a little bit of beads on the end. And like when I was thinking about it, I was like, I wish I could do my hair something like that, but you know, totally different. And my mom just started ordering me all kinds of beads offline, all kinds of different colors, and ended up doing my hair like this. And it's kind of just stuck like this. This is me, the crazy beads all over the place.
What kind of care goes into that? Because as you can tell, us Vegas bad boys don't really have much to work with when it comes to hair. What do you have to like? Do you have to change out the beads every once in a while? Does stuff fall out? What I know it's so stupid, but it's like so fascinating to me that I lost my hair when I was like 18, bro. So
Um,
so I live vicariously through other
oh,
people's hair.
well, thank you. So, I mean, my hair is a process. It is a major process. The total process takes about 8.5 to 9 hours to do. Because I wash my hair while it's up, but in order to get it like really good, you have to take out the beads, take down the hair to where I have this giant afro, and that on its own takes about 2 hours. And then I have it washed really good and kind of dry it out a little bit. And then the braiding process itself, that one takes like maybe 4 hours, and then doing the beads is like another hour on top of that. And as for the colors, I mean, I literally have like two giant boxes of bead colors right here, like so many bead colors. But it's a process, but because I love it so much, it's totally worth it every time. And it's just every couple of weeks where you redo my hair.
So, real quick, I want to, I was overlooking your social media and I noticed your most recent one that and surprisingly enough, I think one of our biggest bad boys, DJ Impact, will be happy. On your Facebook, you posted roughly about 23 hours ago. You said, "What will be the next championship I hold?" Very important question. And you put about a year ago, you were holding a title.
Mm.
Tell us a little bit about that post because I loved it. And I was like, all right, he's ready. You tell me.
So at that point, that championship I was holding, that's the Arizona State Championship. That is the biggest title in Arizona, and it's from the United Wrestling Network. And in that picture, that was my third reign as champion. And so that belt is my baby. I love it to death. But at the same time, as much as I want it back, it also leaves the question for me, what's next for me? Because, I've overcome this obstacle and I've become the best in Arizona. And so now I want to go conquer another place, So that picture from a year ago, I was feeling super confident. It was my first title defense. I kept the title and it just brought up in the memory. And I was like, I haven't actually fought for a title. Like I had a couple matches here and there, but I haven't actually gone after a title consistently in a while. So it's just like, I'm asking myself, asking the people, like, what's the next championship I should hold?
What you said best in Arizona, which is something that working towards is it's hard work because there's a lot of good talent now developing out of Arizona. What has it been like working with a guy like Hammerstone, for instance? You know, have you been able to kind of learn from what a guy like him is doing, or is it just one of those things where when you cross paths, you cross paths? What has that relationship been like?
So Hammerstone, a lot of people don't know this, but he's one of my biggest inspirations, if I could be 100% honest. When I was first training years ago, he was one of the people that was in that training class. He had already had a few years of experience, and he was one of the people that bullied me in training, but not in a bad way. He was literally just prepping me for the business because he was one of the few people that did see that I could actually become something good in this business. And I had a match with him 3 years ago, which was a pretty good match for that time. But since then, we've both gotten better. We're both in different places. So our match at Primetime Live, that was literally one of the biggest, like, proudest moments that I've ever had, even suffering that defeat, just because of, how much I learned from him, from watching him, from working with him, picking his brain. Like, he's literally just set the bar for everybody for what you want to be in this wrestling business, if I can be 100% honest. So he's always going to be one of my biggest inspirations.
Well, and it's interesting that you said that, aspect of it. What I found watching that match was something that, a lot of wrestling fans, they're not looking for. They're looking for entertainment, wins, losses, that kind of stuff. What I liked is that what you brought to that match, you made him look like $1,000,000. And that was impressive. Because if you look at, I mean, he's huge. He's really gotten himself. And when he started, he was a little smaller, and he's really invested so much into it. And your body type is a little more of the cruiserweight style.
Yeah.
And you made him look like a fucking $1,000,000, dude. I'm telling you, it was so impressive what you did you gave to him. And knowing Hammerstone, as you guys keep running into each other, over the next few years, he gives back just as much, in respect. And that's what I can't wait to see,
Right.
Taking it to the next level. I mean, both you guys are just two of my favorites going right now.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Seriously.
So, another. Oh, yeah. My bad.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to tell you one thing that I noticed as well is you are a bodybuilder, from what I've been seeing. Tell us a little bit about that journey of being a bodybuilder, and what are some goals that you have for the future within that realm?
So it's more of I'm an all natural bodybuilder. Obviously I'm not the big guy, but I do take pride in the fact that I am pretty lean and pretty shredded for what it is. And I got into it because when I first started training for wrestling and like getting into it in 2015, like I was literally like, oh my gosh, 155 pounds. Like I was tiny. Like I know I'm still small, but back then I was tiny. And so I really just started working out and like lifting weights as hard as I could just to put on some size. And then once the year 2016 and early 2017 came in, I got obsessed with, old school bodybuilding and following Ronnie Coleman and Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these people that were doing like the Mr. Olympia. And that's when I learned about nutrition, my macros, my carbs. And I started going to school at the National Academy of Sports Medicine so I can be a personal trainer. Mm-hmm. And so there was only one show that I was competing in, but I didn't really look to compete after that. It was really just doing bodybuilding and keeping myself healthy more for myself and passing the knowledge on to other people because, I also have a passion in helping people and being somebody's trainer and fitness coach and whatnot.
Would you say that your passion for helping people out, does that come from your experience with your own family? Were you, was your mom one of those? Because I know my mom definitely pushed me in that, watching her and just compassion and taking care of other people. Is that something that you learned at home, or is it something that you just have developed over the years?
I could say it was definitely mostly at home. My mom and my dad, like literally just, they tried to help everybody that they can. Anybody that asked them for help, whether it was money or anything, they tried to help as much as they can. And my older brother, he's 5 years older than me. He was always like watching me and my big sister, and he was always pretty much helping us out however he could. So for the most part, yeah, I did learn that from home, but also playing basketball in high school, me being a freshman and a sophomore, the upperclassmen, the juniors and seniors, always took care of me, always wanted to help me out and help me with my game and whatnot. So all that stuff just kind of carried into adulthood, and it just made me, I want to help people better themselves,
In your downtime, we had the pandemic and everything. Was there something that you turned to that was helping you get through the days?
Binge watching Supernatural.
Yeah.
Definitely that. I started training my girlfriend in boxing and just doing hit training, helping her get in shape. We got back to just hiking in the beautiful outdoors. I collect a lot of Dragon Ball Z figures, so I was doing a lot of that. So I kept myself pretty busy during quarantine, actually. So it wasn't too bad.
uh, where do you ultimately want to see yourself in the next phase of your career in terms of, would you like to potentially go to, let's say, a Ring of Honor or MLW, something along that lines, or are you specifically shooting for the stars and trying to potentially get hooked up in like NXT or AEW?
Well, the interesting part about that question is I just want to wrestle for a living and make good money. So there's not a specific company that I do want to get signed for. And hell, if I could make it to NXT, then sure, why not? But an Impact, an MLW, Ring of Honor, something like that, wherever I can legitimately get signed and make a good living off of it, that's what I want to do.
You know, when you're thinking about the next level and getting to that, what what do you think that you personally need to and are aware of that you need to kind of work on to get to that next step? Because a lot of times you see a lot of younger wrestlers who have something there but don't know how to unlock it and get to that next step.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a really tough question. I'm always trying to tweak myself to help myself get to where I want to get to. I've been working with Aaron a lot, formerly known as Damian Sandow. He's really been helping me out on my game and my career because he said he wants to get me somewhere in the next couple of years, and he's always throwing me ideas and just telling me what I need to clean up and whatnot. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's my character development. I need to develop more on my character. I think my talking is fine. Like you give me a microphone, I could kill a promo. I'm confident about that. There's a few things I need to adjust in the ring that I just do on accident or pure instinct. I'm afraid of heights, so that doesn't help going up on the top rope. But but no, seriously. Yeah. So it's just a couple of things that I need to tweak here and there. It's not one thing in specific.
So
Simon?
I was gonna say, I'm gonna chop it up a little bit. I'm gonna ask you a little fun question.
Okay.
If you had to choose two people, I'm only gonna give you two. Doesn't matter what promotion. It can be indie, it can be, WWE, NXT, however you want to do it, AEW. Who would be someone you would love to work with?
That's an interesting question. So work with against or tag team or producer wise?
Any type of way you want. Sky's the limit.
Okay. My dream match for years has been against Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Honestly. Honestly, just because I think he's very underrated for his in-ring performance. Like that boy is up there.
Yeah.
Like not only I feel like we would kill it and have a good match, but I feel like I would learn so much from him. He's been everywhere and he's been the face of the company multiple times. So Seth Rollins, definitely number one. And the other one might come to a surprise because I know him personally, but Impact Wrestling's Chris Bay. Yeah, Chris Bay is my boy. I've known him for years too, and we've been trying to get a match against each other for like 2 or 3 years now, but it hasn't been booked yet. So I really want to have just a killer match with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, now I have a mission to maybe we'll make that happen in Vegas.
Reach out to Bay. We know Bay, so yeah.
Well, to reach out to Joe, we'll see if Mr. DeFalco come up and ante up, and we can make that match happen. That would be spectacular. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I think that it's it's funny because you start like naturally you compare people by size and by look and by, just personality and stuff like that. You and Chris fall in a lot of the same categories.
That we do.
And damn, shit, I wish Impact would pick you up, put you two together, and there's your tag team champs for 3 years. Easy.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I mean, damn, you two on the mic and shit. Throw a sexy hot manager in there. Damn.
Let's do
Boy,
it.
yeah, boy, I was like, boy, I gotta make a couple of phone calls to see what we can do.
Well, it's definitely exciting because you two have this distinct energy. So I imagine you two coming together as a tag team. I mean, you don't need any, earrings to do a fusion, but I will say that y'all would make a cool fusion if you did a fusion. I would wonder to see what that would be.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it.
Well, and that's one of the things that I like about that fact is that, when you are able to meet and get to know guys in the business, when you're, backstage or however you come across each other, it's nice when you pick up friendships like that. And, someone like Bate, he's a good dude. And,
Yeah.
It's cool that, that you guys are on the same page. As we kind of get towards the end here, when you first started training, what was the hardest thing about going into the ring? Was there anything that kind of caught you off guard and made you go, yeah, maybe I don't want to do this? Or was it, hey, this is amazing, I'm going to keep doing this?
So it was 3 different things that literally made me say I'm not doing this. Because I remember I looked up a school in Scottsdale and I just drove up one night and they told me I'd have to just do a tryout to see if they think that I have what it takes to start training. And so I got in the ring and I was like, oh, this is pretty soft. It's not gonna hurt. Right. So first of all, when they had me running the ropes, I was like, ow, these ropes kind of hurt, like they're not as fun as they look. So the ropes were killing me. I climbed up to the top because they wanted me to see how it was like up there. And I'm terrified of heights. So getting up there, I started freaking out and panicking. And they gave me a whole bunch of body slams just to see if I can take it. And the first sidewalk slam I took, I felt like my heart shot up through my chest and my eyes started watering. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I can't. I just can't. So, yeah.
Oh, that reality.
Well, and you know what? I guess the natural follow-up is, so when you're going, I can't, what turned around in your mind that said, no, fuck this, I'm gonna do this, man?
So that very next day, because like I got home that night, went to sleep, and the next morning I was watching Extreme Rules 2008. Such a good pay-per-view, really good. And like I was like, it sucks because I do want to do this, but I just can't. The pain hurts so bad. I was being a sissy. And then I was like, well, you know what? Dancing didn't work out as a career. Making it to the NBA on the basketball team didn't work out as a career. And even my third backup, being a basketball coach, didn't exactly work out because I didn't know what path to take. I was like, everything else has not worked and I've kind of given up on everything. I'm not going to give up on this. I'm really not. So, and like my family, like the fact that my entire family fans of the business, for them to see me like actually chasing this dream, it got them all so excited and amped up. And it made me want to just go and do that even more to make everybody proud and invested.
Well, I think you're doing one hell of a job. In fact, someone that we also talked to recently is Jordan Clearwater. And I know you just posted on your Instagram some stuff with Jordan that you did recently. Guys like him, guys like you that are coming up like this, I think it's very exciting. I'm so glad that you decided to like not listen to your aches and pains because you could have easily, had said, you know what, that's it. I'll go on, I'll be a school teacher, I'll be a dentist or whatever the hell, And I mean, you're so creative, you're so athletic in the ring, and there's no ceiling. What you're doing is spectacular work, and you're still so young in terms of the learning aspect of everything, and that's what I love seeing, is that you get it now. 5 years from now, it's going to be limitless. You just celebrated a birthday. What did you guys do for a birthday in this pandemic era, man?
Yeah, I mean, usually we go out and do things, but pretty much I just went to my mom's house and we did a huge barbecue, had a
Nice.
couple of wine coolers, and just invited some of my old friends from high school, and a lot of people showed up. It was a lot of fun. They got me some gifts and did the whole happy birthday thing. I got the best leather jacket in the world with a Shinron from Dragon Ball Z on the back. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's
it
dope.
was a good night. It was such a wonderful night full of people that, that really do care about me. It was a lot of fun.
Do you what do you find when you're dealing with people that you knew from high school? Um, how do they look at you now that you're becoming a legitimate pro wrestler, and this is literally going to be your main source of income, your career for hopefully another 20 or so years?
Yeah, it's the response is always interesting because, like I said, you look back at me from high school. Obviously, I didn't have this hair. I was super skinny, like zero muscle, and I did get. I don't want to say I was overly bullied, but some kids did pick on me, and some of those old bullies that I see out and about, they're like, "Dude, oh my God, you're so awesome! I see you doing that wrestling thing." Or they'll hit
Mhm.
me up on Facebook, like, "Dude, just keep chasing your dreams." Like, so the responses are always positive. They're really cool. And a lot of people didn't see it coming because a lot of people will say, well, I expected you to be featured in the next Step Up movie, or I expected you to be playing for the Miami Heat by now. So a lot of people didn't know how much I was into wrestling until after high school. So
Sure.
it's always a cool response. Like, it's always different, always.
Well, I tell you what, brother, I really love your spirit. I love your determination. One post that you did put on your Twitter, man, I really read it like a couple times because I was like, that's powerful. It was a saved tweet that you had back in 2020, but you posted it recently. You said between now and 2022, I will be signed.
Yes, sir.
Like that is powerful of your determination. The work that you've shown us thus far is already evident that that is the direction and path that you will go. And I believe for sure, maybe even before, not definitely before 2022, man, you're going to be signed, man. For real. You got it.
So thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think that I mean, that's, to me, there's no other explanation other than, why is he not signed yet? And I think that you'll find, I think Simon's right. Hopefully you'll be seeing within the next 2 years some kind of contract will come your way. Um, it's important for, I think, wrestling fans to know who you are. And I really want you to share your social media with everyone so they can find you and follow you, because again, I can't say enough, you know, when we look at young wrestlers and the determination and the guts it takes to have the goals and to make them become realizations is inspiring, not just, as a fan watching your career, but as a person, man. It's stuff that really motivates, not only myself but other people, and that's, I can't say enough about that, man. For someone who likes to help people, you're providing that little spark for, whether it be someone who you know, needed an inspirational lift for a day, you know, you could just turn on an EJ Sparks match, man. And it's just, yeah, man, it's just fun. Where can people follow you on social media?
Well, on Twitter, you can follow me at the real EJ Sparks. Sparks is just normally spelled Sparks, no Z or anything crazy. Same thing on Instagram at the real EJ Sparks. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, EJ Sparks. I post just about every single match, interview, and training session on there. So you guys can just go check out your boy and see all the content I'm posting out just about every single day. Thank you.
Excellent. Simon, any final questions?
You know what? I got a quick question. Just got to ask another. You had mentioned you watch Supernatural. I love Supernatural. I used to attend the conventions. You had mentioned that you have an appreciation for some of the characters. I think you're in season 12. And season 12 in Rowena. And you mentioned Crowley and Castiel.
Yes.
If you had, all right, you know how Supernatural does these episodes where they converge into real life or weird stuff, if it ain't Scooby-Doo, right?
Yeah.
Which character from the Supernatural cast would you say is more like yourself?
Honestly, that's hard because my favorite character is Bobby Singer.
Okay, all right. Everybody love Bobby.
But sometimes I feel like I lean a little bit more towards Dean Winchester, just because he doesn't like to wear his emotions on his sleeve. He's kind of the tough guy that just wants to get the job done. And even though he doesn't always make the right decision, he's trying to do it for, you know, for the greater good, you know. So between Dean and Bobby, it's hard to say, but it would come down to those two.
Awesome. Great choice.
Wow.
Great choice.
That's awesome, brother. I can't say enough how much I appreciate you spending this time with us. I want everyone who's watching or listening, please, again, follow EJ, watch what he's doing, because, you know, when you're able to say you saw someone from the beginning, that's one of the coolest things as a fan. So please, if you don't know who he is, especially if you're overseas and you know, have never had a chance to see, let's say, a championship wrestling from Hollywood, or, you know, something along those lines, look it up on his YouTube and please follow him, because you're going to be seeing a lot from EJ in the next 5 years, and 10 years from now, you're going to be looking back going, dude, that guy's one of the top guys in the business, man. So, and we don't, you know what? We don't blow smoke up asses. So this is honestly stuff that I'm saying from the bottom of my heart. I know Simon feels the same. And thank you so much, brother. And everyone listening, please tune in for all the Vegas BadBoyz of podcasting shows. You know, download us, follow us, subscribe, share, review, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.